Sound is rolling.
Stones are rolling.
Hey, I'm Lachlan.
And I'm Carl, and we are Super Video Films.
And in this video, we're going to be counting down our top 4, each of us, films.
Favourite films.
Favorite films. And this is the first time we've recorded this video. So everything's going to go super smoothly.
And the battery is fully charged.
Yeah. Okay, you can go first.
Just like last time.
Not last time.
These are in no particular order. I've just picked 4 favourite ones. This is the order I wrote them down in, the order I thought of them in. My first one would be The Truman Show. I don't have the DVD picture, but there's a picture there. Very good, very atmospheric film. I like the setting of the little island, and I like the kind of sinister undertone of all the surveillance and the what's his name, Christoph, watching Truman from his dome. Jim Carrey, very good in that movie. Very good when he's playing serious roles. He's probably the best part of that movie. Well, the soundtrack is really good as well, but I just like the whole thing. There's not really a bad thing that I can think of with this movie, which is always a good sign.
Okie dokie, now it's time for my film. I'm also not going in any particular order. So first, I'm going to say something really cliche. Fantastic Mr. Fox. For everyone who likes Wes Anderson, you've probably already seen this film, probably more than once, and you probably love it. I also love it, and for everyone else who has not watched it, you totally should, and you'll understand why so many people like it, unless you don't like it, like my mum, and in which case you have no taste.
My next favourite film, now I'm a very big fan of James Bond, and this is famously not a James Bond movie, but it's a take on James Bond, and that would be, well, the whole Kingsman series, but the first one specifically, which is really the only good one in the franchise.
I apologise for the dog barking.
Yeah, that's not me. I love the humour and the kind of, not parody, but like the take on the James Bond kind of tropes and everything. I'm a very big fan of James Bond. I've seen nearly all of them, so I am able to recognise all of the things that they're making fun of in a nice way. I would say it does the job even better than Austin Powers because it actually has a plot.
Yeah,
and
it's less spoofy.
Exactly, it's a real movie. Very good acting, very good performances from all the actors. I love the costume design, love all the suits and everything, and the gadgets. See, all spy movies became super serious after Austin Powers, and then, well, besides Austin Powers, this is kind of one of the better modern post 2000 post kind of Daniel Craig spy movies, even though he only finished his last one like 2 years ago, but post 2005.
So do you like the new Argyle?
Yeah, I love it. It's my favourite Matthew Vaughn movie, and my favourite movie. It's not on this list.
Did anyone actually expect it to be good?
No.
Okay. My next film is Apocalypse Now. There's not really much to say about it. Well, there is a lot to say about it, but I can't really fit it all
Not from this guy.
into a concise statement. Well, it has one of the most iconic scenes in cinema history, which is the Apocalypse Now Ride of the Valkyries scene with all the helicopters. So you've probably seen that. Yeah, and I think that alone makes it one of the greatest films of all time. But it's, you really have to admire all the dedication from the cast and the director, having to fly all the way to, I think they filmed it in the Philippines, and despite everything that went wrong, and Francis Ford Coppola investing his own money in the film, and it being a total, financial disaster, they still stuck to it, and it turned out to be very good. 5 stars.
I think he runs a winery now. makes his own wine. Number three, Children of Men by director. I forget his name. It's a very, very tense, very atmospheric. I'm going to keep saying atmospheric, but yeah, very, very tense film. Thanks in part to the direction and the production value and the. If you've seen the film, you'll know the kind of 5 to 10 minute long, unbroken one shots that kind of just up the stakes and tension every single time, and it's real white knuckle stuff. Very relevant to today as well. Not that I know enough about the world or politics to make any kind of statement at the moment, but yeah, it is pretty relevant. There's allegories in there or something. I'm not that. Yeah, good film.
My next film is the 1968 film Head, directed by Bob Rafelson, who also directed a film in the 70s starring Jack Nicholson. I just remembered that. So you might have heard his name before. And this film is also co-written by Jack Nicholson. He appears in it, in a little cameo. Yeah. What really makes this film is the soundtrack. Lots of brilliant tracks by the Monkees, specifically Circle Sky, which I think is the first song on the album. The live version is better, which is the version in the film. What's another song? As We Go Along, Porpoise Song, I think that might actually be the opening track. Yeah, so the soundtrack alone puts this in my top four films. But then, of course, there's the Monkees themselves, who had a very hilarious television show. In my opinion, it's one of my favorites. So they're all very witty people, and Mike Nesmith is my favorite.
I love time travel movies, and I used to think,
You do?
yeah, no way. I used to think the Back to the Future movies would be my top pick for best time travel movie, but I actually 12 Monkeys is my favorite, one of my four favorite movies, and 12 Monkeys, and just the best time travel movie I've personally seen, directed by one of the guys from Monty Python. And you can kind of tell, even though I've never really seen that much Monty Python, it's a very wacky film, very kind of over the top directing, and I mean, I want to say performances, but that's just who the characters are. Bruce Willis, he's a good actor. I don't have much to say about him, but I really like Brad Pitt in that movie. Really young Brad Pitt plays a crazy guy with a lazy eye, and he plays it very well. And it was one of his first roles, I think. Very good actor from the start. And I love the whole time travel thing. Like I said, I always love time travel movies. We've made one already. I want to keep doing that. And it's based on a really old French film. I say really old, it's from the 60s, which I've also seen. It's called La Jetée. Watch that first, or don't, because then you'll ruin the plot twist, but it's the same movie.
Yep. Oh, yes. And thanks everyone for watching Time Travel 101, by the way. That was our most successful film, and it's the first film of ours to pass 100 views. So thank you. Anyway, my next film is not the Monkees, but it's the band that the Monkees were based on, and this is the film, the show the Monkees was based on, A Hard Day's Night. So you can sort of see a trend with the last two films I mentioned, in that they're both about bands from the 60s. So, yeah, I think A Hard Day's Night is also one of their best albums from the early Beatles years. This is sort of like a proto Monkees thing. It's in black and white. Yeah, Ringo is in trouble, as usual. Ringo! And there's my copy of Now and Then for you Beatles fans.
You Beatle heads.
You Beatlemaniacs. Screaming girls. Hold for car.
Of the car. But wait, it's not over yet. We've got some honorable mentions because we said top four, but we want to talk about more films.
Done for.
I've done my four.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't count.
no. I'm only going to do one honorable mention.
Oh,
It's
no.
my favorite James Bond movie.
Same for doing 4.
Not my favorite movie overall, but it's up there. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which as you can tell, we are Australian, as is George Lazenby. That's not the main reason, but it is it's pretty funny watching him try and act because he's a male model turned car salesman turned male model turned James Bond turned retiree. Really like the directing in that one. I think I want to say what's his name? I want to say, my God, where is it? I'm not going to waste any time looking that up. Cut this bit out. The directing is very good. It was the editor of the previous Sean Connery movies, so it's edited very well as well, kind of editor's mind. I love the cinematography, the whole kind of, I think it's Switzerland, the Alps, whatever, the ski lodge, that's all done really well. And it's one of the only James Bond movies, or at least pre-Daniel Craig, to actually have any emotion in it. Because other than that, James Bond is just running around like, oh, I'm James Bond. Oh no, my girlfriend's dead. But in this one, he's got emotions and he gets married. And then nothing else happens.
Okay, well, I have 4 honorable mentions, so I seem a little more crazy.
I can come up with some more.
Please do. Okay, because I watched it recently. This is the Alfred Hitchcock collection, but specifically The Birds. It's not a particularly, perfect film. It's not perfect or brilliant or anything. The thing I most admire about it is just the fact that if you think about, I think was it 1962 or 1963? If you think of like a monster film from that era, you wouldn't think it would be pulled off with so much, I don't know, pulled off so well, like the way Alfred Hitchcock does with so many of his films. The special effects are a bit iffy, but it actually does make you feel emotions other than, ha ha ha, look at those terrible special effects. Okay, my other honorable mention is Alien, because, and then Aliens, which is probably one of the best sequels of all time.
What about Alien Covenant? That's my favorite sequel.
Are you insane? Action movie. It's not just the best sequel based on its own, entertainment value and all that, but also the best sequel because somehow James Cameron managed to take Alien, which is like a slow horror sci-fi film, and turn it into like a really entertaining action film that still maintains those horror elements.
Two completely separate genres, and they
Yeah.
both work in the franchise.
Yeah. And next is a film that, it's not one of my favorites either, but I'm mentioning it just because if you've seen What's the Scoop, some of that film was inspired by this, just because they're both 70s, with a little bit of crime influence in What's the Scoop. But What's the Scoop is much smaller in scale, and we made it on a budget of like
$10.
technically something like $0, close to that, $10.
I bought a few things. Maybe.
You bought a few things, but everything is stuff we already own: the camera, the microphone, the props. Yeah, and also if you like The Nice Guys and What's the Scoop, I don't know why you like What's the Scoop. I'm sorry, I don't know. I think it's a good film. I'm just saying,
Over The Nice Guys,
the audience. There's a short film on YouTube. I think it's like 25 minutes long, called "In the Valley of the Moon." It's like a 70s crime thing, mafia. a little bit generic, but entertaining, and you have to respect the director for being able to pull off such a polished film on a tight budget and then uploading it to YouTube for free.
I've got a few more. I'm going to bundle these ones together because it's same director, some of the same actors, but David Lean's movies, very like old classic movies. You know, I watch these and I'm like, oh, now I realize why they're considered classics, because they're actually good. I've got Bridge on the River Kwai and Lawrence of Arabia, British Beatlemania. Both of them are very good. I watched Lawrence of Arabia first. They're both like 3.5 hours long each, but I did it all in one sitting. Well, not both films in one sitting, but you know what I mean. Production value out the window. Very good performances in both of them. I love Alec Guinness in both of them. He's not the main character in either, but he's a very good kind of foil to the protagonist/protagonists in both. I love the I just love how real they are. Movies were real back then. Back then you could blow up a bridge on the River Kwai and a train would fall off it.
That's also
Yeah,
that's also why I like Apocalypse.
I mean they did that last year with Mission Impossible, but Lawrence of Arabia is really good. It's kind of I want to say, I can't remember well, the real guy came first, but it inspired Dune, which inspired Star Wars. So it's all the same kind of story. Bridge on the River Kwai is just a classic kind of war movie. I never thought I'd be into like old war movies, but it's just that good. Not that I hate war movies or war.
You hate war, don't you?
Something.
Peace.
Yeah, peace.
Peace and love, Ringo. Ringo's insane. Just look at his Instagram.
Alright,
Continue.
find one more. Now these ones, again, I'm bundling. The whole trilogy is really good, and that would be the Ocean's 11, 12, 13, the Ocean's movies by Steven Soderbergh. This is probably one of our lesser seen films, and for good reason, just because we don't promote it as much as our kind of current phase films. It was a film we made back in high school, but we kind of came up with a short film, a heist film, based on the Ocean's 11, well, the Ocean's movies for a high school assignment. And I was way out of my depth. But on the other hand, the Ocean's movies are really good. Very good ensemble cast, very good ensemble, very good direction from Steven Soderbergh. You don't hear about him kind of, his name isn't thrown around that much as like best directors of all time, but he does have some really good movies. Soundtrack as well. Location, just the whole plot, very tight scripts on all of them. Very good kind of chemistry, especially George Clooney and Brad Pitt, like my favorite part of those movies, and Don Cheadle. But just the whole cast. I think the cast is its own kind of. This is going to sound stupid. The cast is its own character in those movies, and I just love a good crime heist movie, especially like a kind of Las Vegas kind of cool caper movie. 3 movies, very good movies. Watch them all in one go, like I did. They're all good.
See you later, buddy.
Thanks for watching. Watch all of our other films. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends.
Except don't watch The Spy Who Came
No.
In From the Rain.
No, we should delete that.
No.
We should strike it
Can't.
from this earth.
Can't delete it. People will be upset that we destroy history.
Oh, yeah, the BBC did that once.
Yeah, we don't want to be
We're
like
better
the
than them.
BBC. The BBC? Puh.